2100 hours on October 24, 1942. Japanese artillery begins shelling the perimeter around Henderson Field. The shells fall in steady rhythm, one every 30 seconds. They target the positions held by 1st Battalion, 7th Marines along the Lunga River. The explosions throw up fountains of mud and shattered jungle. Men press themselves into foxholes. They count the seconds between impacts. They know what comes after the shelling stops. Sergeant John Basilone crouches behind his Browning M1917A1 machine gun. The weapon sits on its tripod mount, belt-fed, water-cooled, capable of firing 450 rounds per minute. Basilone has 2 guns under his command. His crew consists of 8 Marines. They have stockpiled ammunition belts in the foxholes, 30 belts, 7,500 rounds. It will not be enough. The artillery stops at 2200 hours. The silence lasts 30 seconds. Then the jungle erupts with movement. Japanese infantry emerge from the darkness. They advance in waves. The first wave is 300 meters away, 200 meters, 100 meters. Basilone opens fire. The Browning roars. Tracer rounds arc into the darkness. Japanese soldiers fall. More keep coming. They are screaming. Some carry rifles. Some carry only bayonets tied to bamboo poles. They charge directly at the Marine positions. Basilone traverses his gun left and right. The barrel glows red in the darkness. His assistant gunner feeds ammunition belts. The second gun to his left fires in synchronization. They create an interlocking field of fire. Nothing can pass through it alive. The first wave collapses. Bodies lie heaped 15 meters from the Marine positions. The second wave comes before the first has finished dying. More Japanese soldiers. More screaming. More fire from the machine guns. Basilone's barrel is too hot. The water jacket is boiling. Steam rises from the cooling system. The gun continues firing. His assistant gunner changes belts. The rhythm never breaks. By 2300 hours, both machine guns have fired 3,000 rounds. The Japanese keep attacking. The third wave. The fourth wave. They step over their own dead. Some reach the Marine positions. Hand-to-hand fighting erupts. Marines use rifle butts, knives, and fists. Basilone continues firing his machine gun into the mass of bodies pressing against the perimeter. He fires until no targets remain in his sector. Then the next wave comes. At midnight, his machine gun jams. A belt has twisted. The feed mechanism is blocked. Japanese soldiers are 30 meters away and closing. Basilone clears the jam with his bare hands. The barrel is hot enough to cause severe burns. He ignores this. The jam clears. The gun fires. The attacking wave breaks. Basilone's hands are blistered. He wraps them in torn cloth and continues firing. The gun jams again at 0100 hours. The water in the cooling jacket is boiled away. The barrel is warping from heat. Basilone cannot clear this jam quickly enough. Japanese soldiers are overrunning his position. He abandons the gun. He picks up his pistol. He shoots 4 Japanese soldiers at point-blank range. Marines from adjacent positions counterattack. The line holds. Basilone returns to his gun. He refills the cooling jacket with water from his canteen. He pours water from dead Marines' canteens. The gun cools enough to function. He resumes firing. By 0200 hours, he has expended all 30 ammunition belts, 7,500 rounds. The ammunition stockpile is empty. Japanese soldiers are still attacking. The second machine gun to his left has also run out of ammunition. Its crew is fighting with rifles and grenades. Basilone makes a decision. He will go get more ammunition. The ammunition dump is 75 meters behind the front line. To reach it, Basilone must cross an area under Japanese mortar fire. He runs. Mortars explode around him. Shrapnel tears through the air. He reaches the ammunition dump alive. He loads himself with as many ammunition belts as he can carry. 8 belts, 4 across his chest, 4 over his shoulders, 95 pounds of ammunition. He runs back toward his gun position. Japanese infantry have infiltrated between the ammunition dump and the front line. Basilone encounters 3 Japanese soldiers in the darkness. He kills all 3 with his pistol. He continues running. He reaches his gun position at 0230 hours. His crew has been holding the position with rifles and grenades. Basilone drops the ammunition belts. He immediately begins firing again. The gun fires for another hour. At 0330 hours, it runs dry again. Basilone makes a second ammunition run. This time he encounters a Japanese machine gun position that has been established behind Marine lines. The Japanese gun is firing into the backs of Marine defenders. Basilone circles around the position. He attacks it alone. He kills the crew with his pistol and grenades. He destroys the machine gun. He continues to the ammunition dump. He loads ammunition and returns to his position. This pattern continues through the night. Fire until empty. Run for ammunition. Fight through Japanese infiltrators. Return. Resume firing. Basilone makes 3 ammunition runs total. Each time he carries 95 pounds of ammunition through enemy fire. Each time he fights through Japanese soldiers. Each time he returns to his gun and continues firing. His crew stays with him. None of them leave their positions. They fire, reload, and fight for 9 hours without pause. At 0600 hours, the Japanese attacks stop. Dawn is breaking. The jungle is visible in gray light. The bodies are piled 3 and 4 deep in front of Basilone's position. Over 200 Japanese soldiers are dead in his sector. His machine gun has fired an estimated 10,000 rounds through the night. The barrel is ruined. The weapon is barely functional. But the position held, the perimeter held, Henderson Field is secure. Basilone's hands are burned. His face is covered in powder burns and mud. His uniform is soaked with sweat and blood. Some his own, most from others. He has been awake for 48 hours. He has eaten nothing. He has drunk only water from canteens. He sits behind his machine gun watching the sunrise and waiting for the next attack. It does not come. This is the action for which John Basilone will receive the Medal of Honor. But the full story is more complex. The citation will state facts. It will not convey what those facts mean. It will not explain who Basilone was before this night or what he became after. It will not describe the cost of heroism or the price of survival. John Basilone was born November 4th, 1916 in Buffalo, New York. He is the 6th of 10 children born to Salvatore and Dora Basilone. His parents are Italian immigrants. His father works as a tailor. The family is working class, Catholic, and tight-knit. John grows up in Raritan, New Jersey, where the family moves when he is young. He attends Catholic school. He is not a distinguished student. He is athletic, gregarious, and restless. He leaves school at age 15 to work. He works odd jobs through the Depression. He boxes informally. He develops a reputation as tough street fighter. In 1934, at age 18, he enlists in the Army. This is not unusual. Thousands of young men join the military during the Depression. The pay is steady. The food is reliable. It is better than unemployment. Basilone is assigned to the Philippines. He serves 3 years in Manila with the 31st Infantry Regiment. He learns to gamble. He earns the nickname Manila John. He becomes proficient with the machine gun. He completes his enlistment in 1937 and returns to civilian life. Civilian life does not suit him. He works as a truck driver in Raritan. He finds it boring. When war breaks out in Europe, he considers his options. In July 1940, he enlists in the Marine Corps. He is 23 years old. He has 3 years military experience. The Marines assign him to machine gun training. His Army experience makes him an obvious choice. He excels. He is promoted to corporal, then sergeant. By December 1941, when Pearl Harbor is attacked, Basilone is training at Camp Pendleton. He knows what comes next. The Marines form new divisions for Pacific operations. Basilone is assigned to 1st Battalion, 7th Marine Regiment, 1st Marine Division. The division is training for amphibious assault. They know the target is Japanese-held territory. They do not know where or when. The training is intense: beach landings, jungle fighting, live fire exercises. The Marines are building capability to take the war to Japan. Basilone trains his machine gun crews. He emphasizes mechanical reliability, ammunition discipline, and staying calm under fire. These lessons will prove critical. On August 7th, 1942, 1st Marine Division lands on Guadalcanal in the Solomon Islands. This is America's first major offensive operation of the war. The objective is Henderson Field, a partially completed airfield the Japanese are building. The Marines seize the airfield on the first day. Then the Japanese counterattack. For the next 4 months, Guadalcanal becomes a grinding battle of attrition. The Marines hold the airfield. The Japanese attempt to retake it. Ships bring reinforcements. Aircraft strike positions. Artillery shells the perimeter. Infantry assault at night. The pattern repeats endlessly. Basilone and his battalion arrive on Guadalcanal on September 21st. They land at Lunga Point and march to positions along the Lunga River. This area forms part of the perimeter defending Henderson Field. The jungle is dense. Visibility is limited. The heat is oppressive. Malaria and dysentery are endemic. Half the Marines will be evacuated for disease. The other half will stay and fight. Basilone sets up his machine gun positions. He stockpiles ammunition. He clears fields of fire through the jungle. He prepares for what experience tells him is coming. The Japanese plan to retake Henderson Field is straightforward. Mass their forces. Bombard the perimeter with artillery and naval gunfire. Assault with infantry at night. Overwhelm the defenders through numbers and fanaticism. The plan has worked elsewhere. At Wake Island, 2,000 Japanese attackers overran 500 Marine defenders. At Bataan, Japanese forces pushed 76,000 American and Filipino soldiers into surrender. Guadalcanal should follow the same pattern. The Japanese commitment is total. They will retake Henderson Field or die trying. Lieutenant General Harukichi Hyakutake commands Japanese forces on Guadalcanal. He has 20,000 troops. He plans to attack the Marine perimeter from multiple directions simultaneously. The main assault will hit the sector defended by 1st Battalion, 7th Marines, Basilone's sector. The assault force is approximately 3,000 men from the 2nd Infantry Division under Major General Yumio Nasu. These are experienced jungle fighters. They have fought in China and the Dutch East Indies. They are confident, aggressive, and contemptuous of American fighting ability. They expect to break through in the first attack. They are wrong. The night of October 24th to 25th is the crisis point. The Japanese launch their main assault after heavy artillery preparation. Multiple waves of infantry attack the Marine positions. The fighting is close range and savage. Machine guns are decisive. The Japanese tactics rely on infiltration and close assault. They believe American troops will break under night attack. Machine guns firing from prepared positions prevent infiltration. The Japanese cannot bypass the guns. They cannot suppress them with their own firepower. They can only charge them directly. This produces catastrophic casualties. Basilone's machine gun section is critical to the defense. His 2 guns cover a gap in the line where the jungle gives way to a clearing. Any Japanese advance through this sector must cross open ground under machine gun fire. The Japanese recognize this. They attempt to knock out the guns with mortars and grenades. They attempt to infiltrate around them. They attempt to overrun them with mass attacks. All attempts fail. The machine guns continue firing. Basilone ensures this through his ammunition runs, his jam clearing, and his killing of infiltrators. His actions keep the guns operational when mechanical failures and ammunition shortages should have silenced them. The casualties in his sector are staggering. Over 900 Japanese soldiers die in the attacks against 1st Battalion, 7th Marines. Basilone's section accounts for at least 200 of these. The bodies are counted after daylight. They extend from the jungle edge to within meters of the Marine positions. Some Japanese soldiers reach the foxholes and die there. Most die in the open ground where the machine guns cut them down. The survivors withdraw at dawn. They do not attack this sector again. The cost is too high. The Battle of Henderson Field, as the action becomes known, continues for 3 days. The Japanese attack from multiple directions. All attacks fail. By October 27th, Japanese forces have lost approximately 2,500 killed. Marine casualties are approximately 90 killed and 200 wounded. The disparity reflects the advantage of defensive positions, superior firepower, and competent leadership. It also reflects individual actions like Basilone's that prevent local breakthroughs from becoming general collapse. Basilone's battalion commander, Lieutenant Colonel Louis Puller, recommends him for the Medal of Honor. The recommendation describes the action accurately but cannot convey its intensity. The citation states, Basilone contributed materially to the defeat and virtually the annihilation of a Japanese regiment. This is factually correct. The 2nd Infantry Division is destroyed as an effective fighting force. But citations do not describe how machine gun fire tears bodies apart. They do not describe the smell of cordite and blood. They do not describe 9 hours of continuous combat. They present facts sanitized of horror. The Medal of Honor is approved rapidly. Marine Corps needs heroes. The American public needs evidence that Marines can defeat Japanese forces. Basilone represents both. He is enlisted, not an officer. He is from working-class immigrant family. He is ethnically Italian at a time when Italian Americans face suspicion due to Italy's alliance with Germany. His story is perfect for propaganda purposes. He becomes the first enlisted Marine to receive the Medal of Honor in World War II. The medal is presented at a ceremony in Australia in May 1943. Basilone is evacuated from Guadalcanal in December 1942 after contracting malaria. He recovers in Australia while his division rests and refits. The ceremony is elaborate. Photographers document everything. The image of Basilone receiving the medal is distributed to newspapers across America. He becomes instantly famous. The Marine Corps recognizes an opportunity. They order him back to the United States for war bond tours. Basilone returns to America in September 1943. He has been away for 3 years. He expects to see his family briefly, then return to his unit. Instead, he is assigned to war bond tours indefinitely. The tours will last 14 months. He will travel to 22 states. He will appear at dozens of rallies. He will shake thousands of hands. He will give hundreds of speeches. He will pose for countless photographs. He will sell approximately $1.4 million in war bonds. He will hate every minute of it. The war bond tours are necessary to finance the war effort. The government borrows from citizens to fund military operations. Celebrities, athletes, and war heroes tour the country promoting bond sales. The presence of a genuine hero, especially a Medal of Honor recipient, increases sales significantly. Basilone's working-class background and ethnic Italian heritage make him particularly effective with those demographics. He represents the immigrant experience in military service as path to American identity. His story sells bonds. The Marine Corps and Treasury Department exploit this ruthlessly. But Basilone is uncomfortable with celebrity. He does not consider himself a hero. He considers himself a Marine who did his job. His crew stayed with him through the night. They deserve equal credit. The 200 Japanese soldiers who died in his sector died because of firepower and position, not because he is special. Any competent machine gunner would have done the same. He says this repeatedly in speeches. Audiences ignore it. They want heroes, not modesty. They want stories of individual prowess, not explanations of combined arms tactics. Basilone provides what they want because he is ordered to, but he resents it. The fame brings other complications. Women pursue him aggressively. He receives marriage proposals from strangers. He is invited to parties and social events where he is uncomfortable. He is offered movie contracts and endorsement deals. He declines most of these. He wants to return to his unit. He requests transfer back to the Pacific repeatedly. The requests are denied. The Marine Corps needs him selling bonds more than fighting. This continues through 1943 into 1944. In July 1944, he meets Lena Mae Riggi. She is a Marine sergeant working at Camp Pendleton. She is 29 years old, from Portland, Oregon. She enlisted in the Marine Corps Women's Reserve in 1943. She is assigned to administrative duties. She is competent, independent, and unimpressed by Basilone's fame. This attracts him. They begin dating. Within 2 weeks, he proposes. She accepts. They marry on July 10th, 1944. The marriage is brief. Basilone receives orders to report to Camp Pendleton for training with 5th Marine Division. The division is forming for operations in the Pacific. He will deploy with them. His wife will remain at Camp Pendleton. They have 10 days together after the wedding. Then he reports for training. They write letters. They plan for after the war. They have 5 months of marriage before he ships out. 5th Marine Division is training for amphibious assault on heavily defended targets. The training is more intense than anything Basilone experienced before Guadalcanal. Live fire exercises, beach assault simulations, combat in fortified positions. The Marines are preparing for something large. Rumors circulate about the target. Some say Formosa. Some say the Philippines. Some say the Japanese home islands. No one knows for certain, but everyone knows casualties will be heavy. The Japanese are defending prepared positions. The Marines will attack across open beaches. This is the most difficult type of amphibious assault. Basilone is assigned to Charlie Company, 1st Battalion, 27th Marine Regiment. He is a gunnery sergeant now, having been promoted after receiving the Medal of Honor. He trains machine gun crews. He emphasizes the lessons from Guadalcanal. Keep the guns firing. Clear jams immediately. Stockpile ammunition. Maintain fields of fire. Never abandon your position unless ordered. His crews learn quickly. Basilone's reputation ensures they listen. He is Manila John. He held Henderson Field. If he says something matters, it matters. The training includes a new weapon system. The machine gun platoon will receive flamethrowers in addition to machine guns. Flamethrowers are effective against fortified positions. They can burn out bunkers and cave defenses that resist explosive weapons, but they are dangerous to operate. The fuel tanks are vulnerable. A single bullet can rupture the tank, causing the operator to burn. The range is short. Under 50 meters, the operator must approach within range of enemy fire. Casualties among flamethrower operators are expected to be high. Basilone volunteers to train on the system. He will lead from the front as he always has. In December 1944, 5th Marine Division receives deployment orders. The target is Iwo Jima, a small volcanic island halfway between the Mariana Islands and Japan. The island is strategically important. Its airfields allowed Japanese fighters to intercept B-29 bombers striking Japan from the Marianas. If the Marines capture Iwo Jima, those fighters are eliminated. American fighters based on Iwo Jima can escort bombers to Japan. Damaged bombers can make emergency landings there. The strategic value justifies the expected cost. The Joint Chiefs approved the operation. Iwo Jima is 8 square miles of volcanic rock, ash, and fortified defenses. The Japanese garrison numbers 21,000 under Lieutenant General Tadamichi Kuribayashi. Kuribayashi is Japan's best defensive tactician. He has studied American amphibious doctrine. He knows the Marines will bombard the beaches with naval gunfire and airstrikes. He knows they will expect to land unopposed and face counterattacks. He will not give them that battle. Instead, he constructs defense in depth. Pillboxes, bunkers, tunnels, and artillery positions are built across the island. They are mutually supporting. They are heavily fortified. They are camouflaged. The Marines will land unopposed. Then they will be destroyed by fire from positions they cannot see. The landing is scheduled for February 19th, 1945. Basilone writes his final letter to his wife on February 18th. The letter is practical. He describes the preparations. He mentions the men in his platoon. He says he expects heavy fighting. He promises to be careful. He signs it Love, John. The letter will be delivered 3 weeks later with notification that he is dead. At 0900 hours on February 19th, the first wave of Marines lands on Iwo Jima's southeastern beaches. Basilone is in the second wave landing at 0920 hours. His company lands on Red Beach 2, a stretch of black volcanic sand on the island's southeast coast. The landing is unopposed. No fire greets the Marines as they exit the landing craft. This is unexpected but welcome. The Marines advance inland. They struggle through soft volcanic sand that collapses under their weight. Progress is slow. No enemy fire. No opposition. This is wrong. At 0930 hours, Japanese artillery and mortars open fire. The fire is devastatingly accurate. The Japanese have pre-registered every meter of the beach. Shells fall in precise patterns. Landing craft are hit. Marines are caught in the open. The volcanic sand provides no protection. Men dive frantically into the sand. It collapses back. There is nowhere to hide. Casualties mount rapidly. The beach becomes a killing ground. Basilone's platoon is pinned on the beach. Japanese machine gun positions on the high ground fire down onto the Marines. Artillery continues falling. The advance stalls. Casualties are accumulating. Medical personnel cannot reach the wounded. The situation is critical. Basilone makes a decision. He will lead his platoon off the beach. He identifies a Japanese bunker firing on the landing area. The bunker is approximately 75 meters inland, at the base of the island's first terrace. It is concrete reinforced, with firing slits facing the beach. Machine gun fire from the bunker is preventing movement. Basilone organizes an assault team, 4 Marines with demolition charges, 2 Marines with flamethrowers. He leads them toward the bunker. They crawl through the volcanic sand. Japanese fire is intense. 1 Marine is hit and killed. Basilone continues forward. They reach the bunker. Basilone throws demolition charges into the firing slits. The charges explode but do not destroy the bunker. The walls are too thick. The bunker continues firing. Basilone signals for the flamethrower. 1 operator is hit before reaching the bunker. The second operator advances. He sprays flame into the firing slits. The bunker falls silent. The assault team moves past it. They have created a gap in the defenses. Basilone waves his platoon forward. They advance off the beach through the gap. Other units follow. The advance continues toward the first airfield. Japanese fire continues, but the Marines are moving. Progress is measured in meters. Every position must be cleared. Every bunker must be destroyed. The volcanic terrain is broken and confusing. Japanese defenders emerge from hidden positions. They fire and disappear back into tunnels. The fighting is close range. Grenades, flamethrowers, small arms. At approximately 1000 hours, Basilone is at the front of his platoon guiding them toward another Japanese position. Mortar fire falls on the advance. A shell lands near Basilone. Shrapnel strikes him in the groin, neck, and left arm. He falls. Marines from his platoon reach him immediately. He is bleeding heavily from the neck wound. The corpsman applies pressure, but the wound is too severe. Basilone loses consciousness. He dies within minutes. He is 28 years old. He has been on Iwo Jima for 43 minutes. His body is carried back to the beach. It is placed with other dead Marines awaiting burial detail. The platoon continues the advance. They fight through the day without their leader. By evening, they have advanced 400 meters inland. Casualties in the battalion are heavy. 27% of the battalion is dead or wounded on the first day. This is typical for Iwo Jima. The fighting will continue for 36 more days. The island will cost 7,000 American dead and 19,000 wounded. All 21,000 Japanese defenders will die. The price validates Kuribayashi's defensive strategy. Basilone is buried in a temporary grave on Iwo Jima. His body will be repatriated after the war. He is buried in Arlington National Cemetery in April 1945. His wife attends the funeral. She has been a widow for 6 weeks. She never remarries. She dies in 1999 at age 84. She is buried next to her husband. They were married for 5 months. The Medal of Honor citation for Basilone's actions on Guadalcanal is comprehensive but incomplete. It describes what he did. It does not explain why it mattered. Machine guns are force multipliers. A single gun properly positioned and supplied can stop company-level attacks. Basilone's actions kept his guns operational when they should have failed. This prevented local breakthrough that could have compromised the entire perimeter. Henderson Field remained in Marine hands. Air operations continued. Reinforcements arrived. Supplies landed. The campaign was won. This chain of causation traces back to Basilone, holding his position on October 24, 1942. But the citation also does not capture the cost. 9 hours of continuous combat produces physical and psychological damage. Basilone's hands were burned clearing hot machine gun jams. His hearing was damaged by thousands of rounds fired at close range. His sleep was disturbed by nightmares. Veterans who served with him at Guadalcanal reported he was changed by the experience. More serious, less outgoing. The gregarious Manila John who loved gambling and jokes was replaced by someone more thoughtful and withdrawn. Combat changes men. Intense combat changes them more. The question of why Basilone returned to combat after being offered safe stateside assignment is complex. The official explanation is duty and loyalty to Marines still fighting. This is partially true. Basilone felt guilty about selling bonds while Marines died. He believed his place was with his unit, not at rallies. But there are other factors. He was uncomfortable with fame. He resented being displayed as propaganda. He wanted to prove to himself that Guadalcanal was not luck. He needed to validate his identity as Marine rather than celebrity. These motivations, less noble but more human, drove his insistence on returning to combat. The decision cost him his life. He survived Guadalcanal through combination of skill, preparation, and luck. Iwo Jima offered no such mercy. The island was designed to kill Marines efficiently. Kuribayashi's defensive scheme accepted that the Marines would eventually win, but maximized casualties inflicted before defeat. Every meter of ground cost lives. Basilone's death 43 minutes after landing was statistically probable. 27% casualties mean 1 in 4 Marines is hit. Leaders advancing at the front have higher casualty rates. Basilone was doing exactly what his training, experience, and personality dictated. It killed him. The broader question is whether his death was necessary. The Marine Corps did not need Basilone on Iwo Jima. He was more valuable alive as symbol and trainer. His death accomplished nothing that could not have been accomplished by another gunnery sergeant. But this analysis misses the point. Basilone did not return to combat because the Marine Corps needed him specifically. He returned because he needed to be with Marines in combat. His identity was inseparable from his role. The alternative, remaining stateside while others fought, was unacceptable to him. He chose to return. The choice was honored. He died as a result. The legacy of Basilone is carefully curated. He is remembered as hero, not as complicated man who made choices that led to his death. The Navy names a destroyer after him, USS Basilone, commissioned in 1949. The Marine Corps names facilities after him. His hometown erects a memorial statue. He is inducted into the New Jersey Hall of Fame. These honors are deserved, but they remember the actions, not the man. They preserve the hero narrative while obscuring the messy human reality beneath. The reality is that Basilone was a competent machine gunner who performed his duties under extreme circumstances. He was not superhuman. He was well-trained, experienced, and unwilling to quit. These qualities are admirable but not unique. Thousands of Marines displayed similar determination. Most are forgotten. Basilone is remembered because his actions occurred at a critical moment in a battle important to the war's outcome, and because someone with authority recommended him for recognition. Heroism requires both the act and the recognition. Without recognition, it is simply duty. The comparison with other Medal of Honor recipients from Guadalcanal is instructive. Gunnery Sergeant John Basilone received the medal for actions on October 24–25. Sergeant Mitchell Page received the medal for similar actions the same night in a different sector. Page also commanded machine guns. He also held his position through intense attacks. He also made ammunition runs. He also killed enemy soldiers with his pistol. His citation parallels Basilone's closely, but Page survives the war. He lives to age 85. He gives speeches and interviews. He becomes more famous than Basilone in some circles. The difference between death and survival is often inches and seconds, not skill or courage. The technical details of machine gun defense that made Basilone's stand effective are worth examining. The Browning M1917A1 fires 30 caliber rounds at 450 rounds per minute. This rate provides balance between firepower and barrel heating. Higher rates cause faster barrel wear and require more frequent barrel changes. The water cooling system allows sustained fire without barrel changes, but the water boils away under continuous use. Basilone's repeated refilling of the cooling jacket was critical to maintaining sustained fire rates. Without water, the barrel overheats, causing jams and potential barrel failure. The ammunition supply was equally critical. The M1917A1 is belt-fed. Each belt contains 250 rounds. At 450 rounds per minute, each belt provides 33 seconds of continuous fire. Basilone's initial stockpile of 30 belts provided approximately 16 minutes of continuous fire. But combat is not continuous fire. Short bursts are more effective and preserve ammunition. A 5 to 10 round burst is sufficient to engage a target. This extends ammunition endurance significantly. Even so, 10,000 rounds over 9 hours means Basilone averaged 18 rounds per minute for the entire engagement. This is high rate of fire, indicating intense combat throughout the night. The ammunition runs Basilone made were physically demanding and tactically risky. A single 250-round belt weighs 7 pounds. Basilone carried 8 belts per run, 56 pounds of ammunition plus his own weapons and equipment. Total load approached 100 pounds. Running 75 meters with this load while under fire requires significant physical conditioning. Basilone's boxing background and Army experience provided this conditioning. Younger or less fit Marines could not have accomplished these runs. Physical fitness is a combat multiplier often overlooked in analyses of battlefield performance. The jam-clearing technique Basilone used on the hot barrel demonstrates technical expertise. Machine gun jams occur for multiple reasons. Belt twist prevents ammunition from feeding. Spent cartridge fails to extract. New round fails to chamber. Each requires different clearing procedure. Basilone cleared jams with his bare hands despite barrel heat because speed was essential. Delayed clearing meant gaps in fire that Japanese attackers could exploit. The burns were acceptable cost of maintaining fire. This calculation, trading personal injury for mission success, is characteristic of effective combat leaders. The tactical situation facing Japanese attackers explains their heavy casualties. Attacking across open ground against prepared machine gun positions is nearly suicidal. Japanese doctrine emphasized night attacks and close assault to negate American firepower advantages. But close assault requires reaching the enemy positions. Machine gun fire creates beaten zones where survival is impossible. The Japanese infantry attacking Basilone's sector had to cross 50 to 100 meters of open ground. At 450 rounds per minute, a single machine gun delivers 7.5 rounds per second. With 2 guns coordinating fire, 15 rounds per second saturate the beaten zone. Multiple attackers are hit by each burst. The casualties are not due to Basilone's marksmanship, but to the weapon's inherent lethality and proper employment. The Japanese decision to continue attacking despite heavy casualties reflects their operational doctrine and strategic situation. The plan required retaking Henderson Field. Failure was not acceptable. The commanding officers believed that persistence and willingness to accept casualties would eventually overwhelm Marine defenses. This calculation was wrong. Machine gun fire does not diminish with casualties. The guns continue firing at the same rate regardless of how many attackers die. Without suppressing or destroying the guns, the attacks cannot succeed. The Japanese lacked weapons to suppress the machine guns. Their mortars and grenades were insufficient. They lacked artillery and range. They had to charge the guns directly. This was impossible, but they attempted it repeatedly because doctrine and orders demanded it. The psychological stress on Basilone and his crew during 9 hours of combat was extreme. Human beings are not designed for sustained life-threatening stress. The body's stress response, adrenaline and cortisol release, is meant for brief crisis. Sustained stress exhausts these systems. Fatigue sets in. Reaction time slows. Decision-making degrades. Training and discipline maintain performance when physiology fails. Basilone and his crew continued functioning because their training was so thorough that actions became automatic. Load belt, fire burst. Traverse gun, fire burst. Change belt. These actions, repeated thousands of times in training, transferred to combat without conscious thought. This is why training emphasizes repetition. It builds automatic responses that survive stress. The aftermath of the battle found Basilone exhausted, injured, and psychologically strained. He slept for 12 hours after the action ended. He ate minimally for days. His hands required medical treatment for burns. His hearing was permanently damaged. Ringing in his ears persisted for the rest of his life. But he received no psychological treatment. Such treatment did not exist in Marine Corps doctrine. Men were expected to handle stress without complaining. Those who showed psychological symptoms were labeled cowards or weak. Basilone showed no symptoms publicly, but veterans who knew him said he changed. The difference was subtle but present. The combat had marked him. The decision to keep Basilone stateside for 14 months selling bonds rather than returning him to combat immediately reflects changing military policies. In World War I, heroes were sent back to combat immediately. Many died in subsequent actions, wasting their propaganda value. By World War II, the military understood that heroes alive were more valuable than heroes dead. They could sell bonds, boost morale, and recruit new soldiers. Basilone's 14 months of bond tours raised over $1 million. This funded weapons, equipment, and supplies for thousands of Marines. His value alive exceeded his value in combat. His insistence on returning to combat worked against institutional interests, but the Marine Corps honored his request because denying Medal of Honor recipients is politically complicated. The marriage to Lena just months before deploying to Iwo Jima seems reckless in hindsight. Basilone knew the deployment was coming. He knew casualties would be heavy. He chose to marry anyway. This reflects both optimism and fatalism common among combat veterans. Optimism that he would survive. Fatalism that if death comes, better to have lived fully beforehand. Lena understood the risks. She married him knowing he was deploying. Their 5 months together were all they would have. Whether this was enough is unanswerable. They,